What is up, everybody? Brian Mendler back in your life on this beautiful Monday in February. And I am super excited today to be joined by my good friend, the great Tommie Mabry, coming to me from Jackson, Mississippi, correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
What's up, my man? How you been?
Oh man, working.
Dude, you're
Trying to keep
busy.
up.
You're busy. So you are everywhere. Where are you? What are you doing? So I saw you just yesterday. You were down in Florida. You're talking to those kids, motivating them, man. What do you do? What do you do when you go down there? I've always been just fascinated by what you do. These kids are hugging you and they are I mean, so I'm like seeing these pictures. I'm like, what is this dude doing?
Hey, I'm relating. I'm building relationships. One of the key things to what we do every day, and I'm pretty busy because I have a platform that covers toddlers through 12th grade and adults. So you may see me in elementary school with the little Tommy character, reading books, hugging, kissing. You may see us in the elementary, then you'll see me in the middle school and high school on a whole different level, or you'll see me with adults. So I try to be that one-stop shop. So I want to be able to cover all kids, all generations, and all different races. So that really keep me moving.
Yeah, well, you and I do the same thing in the sense that we're both staff developers, although, I'm a staff developer. You really develop students more. I'm usually more on the teacher end. I know you're more with kids. So, what do you generally go in there and you do assemblies? Like, what do you actually do?
Well, actually, my I'm under the staff development more now. It usually go. I do a staff development day one, and day two I end up doing the students. But I'm under the staff development umbrella because what I figured out is
Mm,
I can motivate the students all day. That's easy for me.
mm.
But I also have to leave there. So I need the educators to be on the same page as me. And once we start speaking the same language, then even when I'm gone, the educators could still be that voice. So I'm loving the staff development piece of this.
So generally, you'll do like a full day with the staff, with the teachers on a Monday, and then on a Tuesday you'll be with the kids of that staff. Yes.
Correct.
So what exactly do you do with both? I know you're motivating them, but what is your thing? What do you do?
Okay. Well, with the students, it's to get them to see outside of their environment because I think exposure is the key for kids. Showing them that it's a different route. With the adults, with the staff, it's more of a cultural relevance, culture and climate piece. And I'm trying to get them to see that that kid can still be amazing. I was once that kid that you're dealing with daily. So how important it is to build that relationship with that kid. See, I'm a firm believer. It all starts by perspective when you enter that building. And this is not a field where we can come in and take it for granted because we're dealing with our future. So I'm trying to get the educators to see you looking at that out surface of that kid, but if you build a relationship with him and you get to his core, you can teach him. But you got to get on his level first. You got to be able because in order to lead a kid out, you got to enter his world. You got to see what's going on in his environment. That's that Abraham Maslow effect. The hierarchy, the special needs of a kid. I got a master's in early childhood, so I know the development of kids, and I know some of the issues that kids face. But it's all about that perspective of the educator and knowing that you in this environment to teach for outcome, not income. And I'm not to say that they not there for that, but everybody need to be sharper. Everybody need to be polished because I'm an advocate for the educators. I know how hard it is, and I know the effort they give every day. So I don't know if the world see how big it is, but I'm team educators.
I hear you. So if I'm a kid, what do you do? What's your workshop like? I'm just like if I was to sit through it. So I've seen you. You and I first connected at the Innovative Schools Summit. That is, I think I met you first. Was it in Atlanta or in
In
Vegas? I'm
Atlanta.
not sure which one. In Atlanta,
Yeah.
yeah. And I got to watch you present, which was really fun for me. I love when I get a chance to watch the other presenters present, and you blew me away. I mean, the thing I do remember, and again, I don't know if it's like this for you when you watch other presenters, you don't remember everything that they go through, but you remember kind of some bits and pieces. And I remember that you had been shot. I remember you saying
Correct.
that in your presentation, you have been shot. So take me back. Take me back to Tommie as a kid. You have a master's in early childhood, but you also have a master's in credibility, just in
Yeah.
your life, correct? So what
Yes,
is
sir.
that? Tell me about it.
So I come from a family of six, so let's get deep down. I'm that kid that they see every day. If you even see my image, I've had tattoos since I was in middle school. I had permanent gold teeth in middle school, and it was hard to get me to turn on my culture. And that's me not really knowing what my culture is. Is when I say culture, I'm only saying as an environment. I never saw life outside of my environment. So the way that I act every day is everything that I've seen and everything that I've witnessed. I was kicked out of 10 schools. I was kicked out of 7 elementaries and 3 middle schools. My first time encountering the jail system, I was in the 5th grade for what I was locked up for was burglary. But I was so young and the judge turned it to trespassing and that was that first idea of what the jail looked like. Now I heard it so many times, especially in my environment. The judge told me in 5 years I'd be dead or locked up if I kept it up. And I just went on and I kept doing the same thing. Kicked out of 7 elementaries. I thought it was smart to be dumb and dumb to be smart.
Hmm.
You could never catch me with a book bag on my shoulder because my neighborhood didn't applaud that. You know, the guy Brian that have his shirt tucked in that say yes sir and yes ma'am, in my neighborhood you consider lame. And to me, you fighting for acceptance every time you do the right thing. If you're in an environment where it's not cool to look smart, it's not cool to do this and that. Okay, I'm gonna pick my culture. That's what I mean by culture. I'm gonna pick that. So even me now, when I go into school, I'm like, man, I was kicked out of 10 schools, you all. I repeated 8th grade. I was shot my senior in high school. You're not talking to a normal kid, a normal dude. Like I've sat in those seats, and I most likely have done more than majority of you all. But that don't mean you can't change tomorrow. And when you get kids to see that, man, he looked just like me. Like this
Hmm.
kid was just like me. It resonate different, and they able to see a model. They able to see a kid that a guy that's battled the same adversities, and I have to let them see that because Brian, like I said, exposure. Let's say I never told them that. Educators, I applaud them. But what my thing was, I wanted them to go deep into it. You telling me I could be a lawyer and a doctor and an astronaut? Man, Brian, I ain't seen an astronaut yet, and I'm grown. Not saying that, and I get it. I get why you have to see something in them first. You got to get them to see that they can be a lawyer or a doctor, right? But guess what? It's not a lawyer or a doctor stay in my hood. I'm in poverty. I'm in one of the lowest economic stages of a neighborhood, right? So you, I never the lawyers and the doctors they gone. They left my
Yeah.
neighborhood. So what I'm forced to see every day. You know how I get to school in the morning? I walk through this and that. And you wonder why I want to rap. You wonder why I want to play sports. Because guess what? I've seen that next door to me, right? I've seen the guy that rap. I'm listening to the lyrics every day. So I'm listening to what he's saying. I'm breaking lyrics down as a kid. He come from this area. He's sold this. He have done that. But that's what success look like to me, Brian, because that's a model. Kids gonna now you can play with a kid long you want to, but guess what? They gonna adapt to you. They gonna be able to look at you and say, if you can't speak the language, and that's that culture relevance piece, you have to be able to bring that culture to them and show, okay, it's some stuff about your own culture that you don't know. Look at these amazing people that represent your culture and look at what they doing. And I feel like I'm the voice for that. And I don't try to get out of my element. Because Brian, I've said it when I first got into the professional development stage, I saw you everywhere. So I was like, this man got the flyers. He on every book. So the first time I got to see you present, man, I was blown away because
Thank
you have a certain style that that resonate with every group, and that's something that I said. I'm a student of the game, so
Yeah.
I would sit in your session. I was like, man, Brian knows some stuff. He not your traditional presenter.
No.
Like he trying to touch something.
Yeah. Well,
He
my
trying to hit.
number one rule as a presenter is don't be boring. That's my number one
Yes.
rule. And I don't care. I'll be anything but boring, but I will not be boring. And the thing is, you only get one shot, right? And that's a huge difference when you do staff development versus when you teach kids in school. And again, let me be clear. I think teaching kids in school is way harder than doing staff development. It's not even close. I mean, they have to teach, different subject area to the same kids every day. I often get to teach different people the same lesson every day. So you can get really good at that. But the place that where my job is way harder is I only get one day to connect. They don't give me they don't give you 180 days. They give me one day. And sometimes they don't even give you that. Sometimes they give you an hour or 2 hours and they say, here, connect to my staff or connect to my students. And in a regular school, you get 180 of those days. So, my rule is don't be boring and you will remember me. Those are my two rules because life is too short to not have that. And I think it's a mistake that a lot of presenters make in the game is they're trying to be so politically correct all the time, or they're trying to be they're so focused on, their content that they're missing the delivery piece of it. And that's certainly what got me with you. What got me with you, it was your message is amazing too, but your delivery style was so just I mean, I couldn't help but leave there saying, yes, yes, like I'm ready. I'm ready for the day. Like, I don't care what I'm about to do. I'm ready to go do it because I just listened to that dude talk. Did you grow up in Jackson? Are you from Jackson? Like the poorest areas of Jackson? Tell me about your actual childhood.
Well, okay, when you look at Jackson, when I was growing up, it was ranked number 3 in murder capital in the country. So I came from one of the top. I think the people that's in my environment, they're amazing. Some of your smartest individuals come from the hood or they in the jail system. Only difference is they don't know how to tap into it in a way because some of them never left there. So it took me to leave Jackson, and that was my senior year in high school. I was shot my senior year in high school. I had a 1.8 GPA, Brian, like 1.8. I never thought about college. Only thing I could do was play basketball,
I
though,
know you
right?
were good, right? You were
Yeah,
good.
I was good, but I got shot my senior year, so it was colleges revoked my scholarship. I skipped school. I got shot second period. Me playing basketball, having a 1.8, and then you got shot. So it was like I was a flight risk. So I had the exposure was playing basketball. That's something that gave me the upper hand on other kids. Because what about the kid that don't play basketball and
Right.
that's not able to travel the country? So he only forced to see what he see every day, and it's not his fault. And let me make that clear. If I'm researching now, cultural poverty is passed from generation to generation through learned behavior, right? That means what dad know or what mom know, they taught it to the kid. It's really not the kid fault because if you come from a high economic area, it have nothing to do with the kid.
No.
When kid in your class, he don't have nothing to do with his economic state. If he from poverty, it don't have nothing to do with him. He inherit that, and educators got to see that because yeah, he coming in with baggage, but look at his age. He ain't stopping his bag. That ain't something he did. But I got shot my senior year, so everything I worked for, I destroyed it. And that's when I got so connected to the church, man. I was like, everybody I'm hanging with, either dead or locked up. Brian, I got guys that got locked up when we was 15 years old that's doing life. I got guys that I went to jail with my first time that's not even living. So I've seen some of the worst, man. But this is my culture, man. Like I want it to be that. That's why I tattoo my body. I got tattoos on both sides of my neck, man. I get judged. I used to get judged everywhere I go. I used to people I go places, man, they'll tell me, man, you'll never be nothing with the tattoos, you'll never be that Brian. I'm the CEO of my company, man. I'll be Dr. Tommie Mabry in a few months. You know what I'm saying? So
I
it's
know.
it's it, it's all about seeing that though, Brian. It's when you see me and I think what make me different, I don't try to be Brian when I'm speaking. And Brian, I know you don't try to be Tommy when you speaking.
No.
It's just organic. What you say at first, you trying to leave that impact in that room before you leave. I tell a lot of people what separate me when I'm doing what I'm doing in my element. I'm not a speaker, Brian. I'm a connector. Cause you can hear a speaker. A speaker just going. You can be texting and hear a person talking. A speaker is that. I'm trying to connect. I'm trying to move you. In order for me to move you, you gotta feel me, right? So I gotta touch, like something I say gotta touch you. If I'm not, I'm in there to do that, Brian. That's why when you see the teachers grabbing my arm, they telling me how much I did for them, Brian. I'm not leaving that building till I touch you because it's not about speaking to me. I'm trying to get you in a place that you can feel this kid through me.
Yeah.
And that's what I found out in your presentation. And I'm not easy to impress either. I can tell you that. I'm looking at the ones that speak, and that's good. That's what you do. Just speak. I'm not against that. Like you're a speaker,
Right.
but you got a way of moving them, and
Right.
and that's the thing I look for.
It's unbelievable to me how many people go on social media and they call themselves, speaker, like they want to be a speaker. And I am that. Like, let me be clear, I am that in the traditional sense, but I'm not that. Like, that's not my goal. My goal is to change your life. My goal is to for you to get done and say, well, and it's to really get people to look in the mirror. That's really my goal. My ultimate goal is for you to walk out saying I'm better because I check myself and there's ways that I can improve. And one of my rules with challenging kids is you don't get to change the kid, but you can change yourself. And if you change
Mm,
yourself, that will change the kid. And if you can trust that, and that's a great thing for teachers because that's all you control anyway. You don't control other people, right? I don't control what happens to you when you go home or who reads to you or who doesn't, but I control when you come in and you didn't eat breakfast. I control when you cuss me out and I get mad versus saying, you know what, that kid just having a rough day or he's, something happened to him and I'm not going to get offended, right? I control those moments. And if I stay in control of me, then I stay in control of everything around me. My rule for classroom management, my definition of that is that classroom management has nothing to do with kids and everything to do with managing yourself. Do you stay in control of the only person you control? You mentioned you got shot 3 times, so I can't let you go on without explaining that more. And you glossed over it. You said you skipped school, so you skip
yes.
school and you get shot second period. Tell me about
So
that day.
I freak accident. I skipped school second period, first block. I got shot second period, 10 o'clock. Freak accident. I was sitting in the neighborhood with my friend guys. My friend had a gun in his pocket and he was dancing. It ripped through his pants and hit my foot. The worst conversation you can, Brian, I'm a grown man now. I got 2 daughters. The worst conversation and a son. The worst conversation you can ever have with a parent is, man, you need to get to the doctor. Your son been shot. My dad answered that phone. He was like, no way. Like I've done everything at this point. I got a good dad. He came to the doctor. He like, man, my son at school. My son getting recruited by schools. Like, what's going on? They were like, you need to get here. So I was laying on the bed, Brian. I heard the doctor say the way that bullet hit his foot, he'll never play ball again. I'll jump off the same foot I got shot in. And I'm laying on that bed like it took me a lifetime to build this craft and to get this way that I can really perform. But it took me a second to destroy it, man. Like it took me a second to eliminate everything that I worked for. I broke down. Cause I'm like, I can't play basketball no more. That was my escape route. I couldn't do everything else. Like I used to hear educators say, Tommy, you're gonna need a backup plan just in case basketball don't work out. No, I'm going to the NBA. But Tommy, come on, what give you the audacity to dream that big? You're going to represent the 1% of all male athletes, and you look at my schedule. I think the way you prepare, I think the way you use your 24 hours, I was using them for the bad, and I'm still thinking about going to the NBA. Come on, Tommy, you don't even give it enough for that. You rather be in the streets. I broke down, man, and I laid on that bed. I couldn't practice. I had to rehab for some weeks. I had to wear a boot. I couldn't play, man, and that put me in a stage that it's like, what's next? They already told me I was gonna be like my dad and everybody else, but I'm like, man, what's next for me? But I also read a quote, man, that never left me. It said, in order to get something you never had, you got to do something you never did and become a person you never been.
Hmm.
And it hit me to a place where it's like the person you are right now can't be the same person. You can't be who you used to be and who you inspire to be at the same time. Like somebody got to die off. Like you can't meet them in the middle. You're gonna have to drop something. You're gonna have to let the hardest thing in the world is change. You're gonna have to change, man. You're gonna have to give that part of it up. And kids, it's hard to tell them to look at that individual that they hang out with every day. Now you could probably tell adults and they don't even hear it half of the time. But I had to go face my neighborhood, man, and facing my neighborhood and telling people I can't hang with you no more. Cause I've seen the bottom, bro. I've done everything at this point, like everything, and I'm not proud of none of it. But my past is what made my future. I'm able to go in that place now. Like I've done everything. I've stole cars. I've broken houses, man. I've done everything you can name. But I'm not perfect, man. And that's that part of my life that I feel like I'm able to touch that kid. Now, let me say this, bro. As an I've been on both sides of it. I went back to the school district that kicked me out, and I became a teacher in that district, right? As soon as I graduated from college, I graduated with in education. I went back to the school system and I stood out in the schools because I was teaching kids that looked just like me and
Yeah.
did some of the same things I did. And I was able to touch them in a way, man, that no other educator could. And the principal would always tell me, man, he gave me staff for the month, first month of school. And he was like, man, you come and you do something different here. He was like, you take nothing for granted. I said, man, because when I'm here, I'm the principal, I'm the pastor, I'm the father, I'm all the above.
Yeah.
And that's perspective. Perspective is what drive performance. The way you view what you do gonna always determine how you do what you do. If you walk in that school like it's just a place I get paid, you're gonna perform that way. But
Yeah.
if you walk in with the attitude that today I'm changing a life,
Yeah.
today I'm doing this and that, that's why you can put me on duty. You can put me on a duty post. You can put me out front. And Brian, my duty post in the school was out front. I used to think it was because I was brilliant, but after the first week, I noticed that's where all the fights used to happen in front of the building.
Ah.
So
So
I
they had you
realized
out there.
I realized why I was put there. But man, I took none for granted, man. I took none for granted every day. It was like come in this building every time you're around a child is a teaching moment. You matter. And that's why I tell educators, you matter. Never walk in that building like you're insignificant. Cause kids gonna know if you just there.
What
But
did
be
you
that person.
teach? What did you
I was the
teach?
I was the behavior specialist in the school.
So
So I
where?
was the
So
one
tell me about that. Where were you working?
I was the one that dealt with all the behavior issues. What they would call it is in school suspension. What I called it was a place where you're gonna come and get everything you wanted. So I was the one that I dealt with all the behavior in the school, right? So anybody that get kicked out of class, they had to come to see me. They had to stay with me. But guess what? That's the best place I need to be because I was dealing with kids that the other teachers was having challenges with.
Yeah.
So I took that job, Brian. You would have thought I was the principal. I wasn't even the main teacher in the school, but you would have thought that man, this man knows some stuff. Like he come my classroom was set up so brilliant. Like it had word walls. They was like, no, this not usually how in school suspension job go. Look, no, this is academy for me. I had them to change ISS to um academy support. Like I had you come in here with a mindset. This is not jail. You come in here and you're gonna learn. We're gonna do work. We're gonna do all the above. And this is in Jackson. It was at Whitten Middle School in Jackson.
Did you have kids who would get in trouble just so they could come to you? Because
After a while,
it almost sounds like if I'm a kid, I'm saying, you know what, I'm gonna get everything I want in that room. Let me disrupt class.
yeah,
Might as
it
well. I get to go there.
it was. It's funny you said that because the ones that when we first started off, before I got there, they was telling me that kids wanted to come to that class because he didn't. They can come in there and play and do all the above. But when it was me, the first few months they found out that no, this is a different person, and nobody wanted to go there. So the behavior was kind of it was stopping because they knew where they had to go was to me. But after a while, after like 6 months of them knowing me and knowing it wasn't even about this class, they felt me in a different way. It was kids that would just come to me and say, "Look, I work better in your classroom," and the teacher would come to me and tell me, "Could he sit with you?" I'm like, "Nah, y'all going against." Because when you send a kid to me, you let your power go with me too. Because now when you kick the kid out, your power came directly to me. Because
That's
now,
when they got to bring you in. That's when they got to
yeah,
bring you in. So as I used to do that. I had a counselor where I did that, where the kids loved going to her, and it was that. It was they used to go to her when they got in trouble, and then they started playing me. They started getting in trouble on purpose. So I just brought her in, and I've talked about this recently on one of my shows. She would come in and teach a half-hour lesson to the kids on Fridays, and our rule is teach it on something cool. I didn't care what she did, but she would come in and teach a lesson. And a lot of the kids, just knowing they were going to get to see her during that time, made them not go out of their way to need to see her other times because it was now scheduled. Did you do any
and
of that? Did you go into the rooms?
that's what I was put in positions where my principal would utilize me in every capacity. He would put me in rooms that had new teachers, and I had to actually mirror them. I had to sometimes take their kids to lunch. Sometimes he'll make me do a full day in their classroom. That's how I knew I had to be in this area because what he was telling them, watch the way he do it, and not to give me no credit. It was just I.
Yeah.
Brian, I'm gonna tell you something. And I'm glad you mentioned it. I had this teacher. She told me, she said, Tommy, I'm I got lesson plans. I can write lesson plans, but I can't get classroom management. She said I get wrote up every day for that. Tell me what I'm doing wrong, Brian. I'm gonna do that every morning, right? I said, you really want me to tell you why? She was like, I really need this. Like I'm good with data, but not. I like you really want me to tell you this? I said, ma'am, I'm at school at 7. School start at 8. You get here 30 minutes late every day. She was like, well, what that mean? I'm like, let me walk you through it. Because the way you preparing in school is everything. I said, when you walk in the classroom, Brian, you 30 minutes late. Kids have already sat where you told them don't sit. You on the board now trying to get everybody together. You trying to do your board ringer. That paper that usually hit you every morning, it hit you at this time because your back turned. Like you didn't have control because you 30 minutes late. I said, ma'am, get here 30 minutes early and let me walk you through this. Cause I watched her do this and I watched her struggle too. She got there 30 minutes early. She got her board ringer done. She was able to greet them at the door now. That's two different spirits. Because when basketball players or coaches go out before a game, they don't just let their team go out there and play. They give them a pregame speech. They huddle first. She didn't get the huddle first. So I said, meet them at the door. When you see them, there's always that look, that Tommy that you got to catch at the door and be like, look, don't come here with that today. Like you gotta walk him in. You gotta greet him. You're gonna be amazing today, son. You can do this. You can be that. And then you can direct them into their seats. You can put them there. Put them there. Within 30 minutes, she was already in instruction time, Brian. She was going. She already had it. It took her 5 minutes. Where it usually take her almost 30. And when it took her 30, it just carried on to the next period.
Yep.
She was behind every time. So she got it for the next weeks. She was on point. But then she said, well, now I get rolled up on transition to lunch every day. I'm like, so I had to walk her through what she was doing wrong for lunch. And that
What
was
was she
fine to
doing
me.
wrong for lunch? What was
What
she doing wrong?
she didn't give them a pregame speech. Give them expectations. When you
So
get a
what
kid,
is it?
because you got Tommy in your classroom, right? So my pregame used to go like this. Don't you all embarrass me when I get down there with my principal. Like don't make me look bad. And I could throw incentives in. I could tell them, look, y'all been great today. Lift them up. Don't just criticize them every moment you get. Y'all been doing amazing today. This is speech. I need you all to walk down here like we got some sense. I need you all to do this and that. And if you all go down and we do everything right, we can come back to class and whatever that this is, we can do this. But you giving them something to work for. And then you got Tommy in your classroom. Don't just have Tommy sitting in your classroom because to me it's easy to teach the model kid. It's not as easy, but the model kid come from a different house. The model kid, mom got a master's, dad got a doctoral. Sometimes it's a little different with him, but that at risk kid, how you deal with him? How you deal with that kid that don't have a model? You got to use him within your curriculum. You got to
Yep.
use him within your lesson. You got to like so you taking that advantage with Tommy in your classroom. You telling Tommy because kids gonna look at what he doing, and if he on point and he walking the lunch correctly,
Then they're gonna
then
follow.
I used to tell the Tommy that was in my class, look, get your extra juice, man. You need some like I give you this shit when we get down here, but make sure my line right. Make sure my line straight. I don't even have to do it no more, Brian, because they already fear him. So, and I told her to do all of that. She transitioned perfect. She got back to
Right.
class. She gave him 10 minutes to relax and talk. It wasn't even about lesson when she got back. Man, it went smooth. But these are those incentives, these takeaways that because you're
I'm
dealing
la-
with
I'm
me.
I'm laughing because I'm thinking of this of a student that I used to teach named Angel Cruz, and I probably shouldn't have said his whole name on here, but whatever. But this was a real thing. So Angel Cruz, and he was one of my favorite kids. I always joke my most disruptive kids are often named Angel, Jesus, or Precious, and I'm not exactly sure why, but Angel was a tough one, and I remember though I couldn't get my class quiet after lunch. I was struggling with that, and he was my leader. He was the one that the way he went is how all of them went. And so one day
Mm,
after school, I kind of challenged him. I was like, I don't think you can get the class quiet after lunch. I've seen you get them all riled up. I know you could do that, but I don't think you got it in you, right? So all of a sudden, he looks at the class and at the top of his lungs he yells, "Yo, shut the fuck up!" At the literally at the top of his lungs. And I run over. I was like, "Hey, hey, hey!" He said, "What?" I said, "Good job." He said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah. Tomorrow, leave the f bomb out. Just do yo, shut up." He was like, "All right." So the next day it was yo, shut up. Then it was yo, please shut up. Then it was yo, please shut up. Thank you. Then it was yo, please be quiet. It took us like 3 months to teach him how to tell everyone to be quiet. But what I love about that is kids can say stuff we can't. So
yeah,
there was so many times I wanted to stand in the middle of that room and yell, "Yo, shut the f up!" But I would have got fired if I did. He did it, and they all listened. It was
yeah,
brilliant. It was brilliant. Same thing. I see the same thing during observations, where I would before an observation, I would say to my kids, "Guys, listen, I'm getting observed tomorrow. I got to look good. Like, don't make me look bad. I'm sitting in these staff meetings. I'm sticking up for you guys. I'm telling all these teachers that you guys are smart and you guys are leaders, and people are watching now. And don't act like you can't walk down a hallway. Like these kid teachers don't think you could walk down a hallway appropriately. But luckily you had me sticking up for you. Who you gonna make look good?" And I love that pregame. I love the analogy you use of you don't let them go play a game until you give them that speech. And that speech is critical.
yeah. Brian, I had a sixth grade teacher who modeled that to me. She was every time I come in the classroom, nah, no other teacher. She was like, "Tommy, you're gonna be amazing today. I know you're gonna get every answer right today." I'm like, "No, I'm not, bro. Like, so why are you telling me that?" But now that I'm older, I knew she was running reverse psychology on me the whole time,
Right.
and I never understood what she was doing. I never heard I was amazing, but when I walk in her classroom, she would put me up front every day. She would make me come to the board. She would use me, and I go back home. I'm like, man, she gonna do this every time. So I knew coming into her room, I had to be like at the front of the room. I couldn't sit in the back, but it was that nurturing of her too. It was Tommy, you amazing kid. Tommy, you this and that. Man, I got to believe in that.
Yeah.
And other teachers would tell her this, Brian. You may have heard it a lot. Well, why you don't do that in my classroom? Why you be babying him? No, you missed it. If you thought that was babying, you missing the component that these kids really need, and that's that uplifting. Because you're not just a teacher in there. As a female teacher, you the mom in there. You dealing with situations that you would deal with in school, and that's why that's critical. I'm gonna give you a situation that happened to me, Brian, and this pushed me every day. This let me tell this is what gives me that go for teachers, right? I was doing a PD at a school in out of town, and they had metal detectors, right? Kids walk through metal detectors. This kid walked through Brian, and the metal detector went off, and they emptied his book bag out. It was all candies, juices, chips. Brian, when I tell you this man clown, he broke the metal detector with his bare hand. He was playing tug of war with them trying to get that bag back. You remember I told you earlier, in order to lead a kid out, you got to enter his world. First of all, that's supposed to be something that told you as an educator. It's something there. You got to find out what's that something right there. Don't be so quick to wrap him off. Find out, enter that. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, the principal was like, come and get him. He called in security guard. Come and get him. He need to get out of here. Send him home. Get his mom on the phone. I'm like, wait a minute. No, y'all stop. Let me talk to him. They were like, no, he gotta no, no, y'all stop. Let me talk to him. And I pushed him down, bruh. And I asked him, I said, what that candy mean to you? He was like, man, you won't understand what that candy mean to me in a million years. I said, no, I know it, but what they need to know it. because I've seen that face before. I said, man, what that candy mean to you? He said, if I don't bring that profit home, I don't make rent. Man, I broke down. I said, and the principal was sitting next to me. He was like, rent. He was like, my mom on food stamps. He said, my mom get the EBT card and she the candy lady in the neighborhood. He said, I make like $20 a day. At the end of the week, that's $100. At the end of the month, that's like 400. That's my part. He said, I can't bring that home. I broke down, man, and I asked the principal, I said, whoa, how many of y'all knew that situation? No, I ain't know that.
Not one.
I asked the counselor, I said, because y'all was on duty too. Did you know that situation? No, I ain't know that. So I said, okay, let me go to the homeroom teacher. I said, did you know that situation? No, I don't know that. So how can you fully teach what you don't know? That's a teaching moment. Y'all was about to send him back home. Y'all was about to put him in an environment, and he's sixth grade, bro. Like I'm
Hmm.
a grown man. I said, there go your signs right there. There go that paper he didn't do that you get on him about. How you expect him to learn balancing equations and doing all these, and if he thinking about rent, like, and I paid for that candy, and I was so hot. And I went to the principal. I was like, I'm not asking you to know every kid in here, but what I was really mad about, Brian, nobody in that building had a relationship with that kid. I'm not asking you to know every kid, but if he had a relationship with, come on, coach, you ain't have a relationship with him
Right.
that you can find, because kids gonna tell you everything you need to know once you build that relationship with them, and
The
it
thing
broke me,
is,
bro.
though, the thing is, in that scenario, you didn't even have a relationship, and you still got the information because you asked. Like, I mean, sometimes you could just ask, just pull a kid aside and say, "Hey, bud, I'm just concerned. I see all this candy. I'm wondering what's going on. There's chips, there's candy.
Mm,
The
mm.
detector's going off. Hey, it's school. It's not. We're not running a store here. Like, what is going on?" And you just get in their ear and you pull them aside and you don't make a scene about it. It's kind of like the airport. Sometimes you get beeped and they don't start screaming at you and they don't start, they kind of discreetly say, "Sir, you're randomly selected. Walk over there." And it's a little bit of a hassle. There's no question about it. I don't enjoy it, but it would be humiliating if somebody started shy. "Hey, the metal detector went off. What's in your pockets?" "Whoa, relax. I don't know. Let me figure it out." And to stay calm, man, is really the way to go. Amazing.
Yeah, and that was I didn't even know I was taking that approach till you just said it. It was more of me like comfort him, comfort him at this moment because I've seen that face before. I know a survivor face, but this guy's sixth grade, man. I'm 32 years old. If I don't bring mortgage home, it's big for me. And one of the things that I hate is the fact that his parents put that responsibility on him and say you the man of the house. Man, that's the worst thing you can ever do for a kid. You can't tell a kid he the man of the house. You wonder why he come to school and he act the way he acts, cause he communicate with himself as an adult. Man, I'm the man of the house, Brian. You not you come on. We the man of the house.
Right.
That's not no easy job to put on no
Nope.
sixth grader.
Nope.
But that's the expectations he have when he leave home. That mean he grown and sometimes he fear nothing. So if he don't fear nothing when he come into schools, come on now, it gonna take one of us in that school building to be that voice for him. And that's why I take it. My schedule, Brian, is on a Monday. This is how my week usually go. On a Monday, I'm doing a professional development, probably in an elementary. The next day I'm doing my little Tommy in the school and with the elementary kids. Wednesday I'm in a middle school doing a professional development. Thursday or Wednesday evening I'm doing the middle school. Then I go to the high school and do the same thing. Then I might got an administrative conference, I mean section on a Sunday or something, just with the administrative group. Then I'm going to the jail system. Then I'm going to church. Like I want to be in every place I'm dealing with everybody that make decisions because that was something that I've learned 4 or 5 years ago when I first started doing professional developments because I was speaking for almost 12 years. But I was like, I'm speaking to kids. Kids was my platform starting off when I was 19. I'm 32 now. But when I got around like 26, 27, it was more of, okay, I'm missing something. And that key component was I got to get to the educate. I got to get to the people that make the
Yeah.
decisions.
The grown up.
And
Yeah.
and that building that platform and learning the stuff that I needed to learn. That's why I went back to school all the times I did. I went to get the master's because I'm like, wait a minute, I gotta learn some stuff, bro. I gotta learn this language. That's why I was good that I was in the school system. That's why I wanted to teach education. Like I wanted to look at this from a holistic approach. And the fact that I've been on both sides, I've been in the school and I've
Yeah.
been that kid you dealing with. Yeah, I'm most definitely connecting when I come. And
What
now the conferences is starting to see that.
what was the turning point for you as a kid? Where was the turning point where you went from having a 1.8 and being shot to going to college? Because that doesn't happen for most kids.
So my turning point was that bullet when I got shot, right? So even though I used to hear educators say you need a backup plan, I didn't really care. But when I got shot, I was forced to see different. And I had a 1.8 GPA. I was blessed to get back on the court and play basketball, even when they told me I wasn't. Now we go to these conferences and they talk about resilience and persistence. Man, you can't teach resilience. You can't teach persistence. You just got to enhance that. That stuff is already in there. You don't believe they already have it? Look at how they communicate with their peers. Look, put them on the football field. Put them on the basket. They have it, but do they have the academic rigor? No. You just got to. It's there. You just got to find a way to relate it to them and make them want to do it. So when I got shot, it was like, man, what you gonna do next? And I was fighting to get back on the court, and I was willing to fight at that moment. Here come that resilience. I seen an end goal. Now that I'm back on the court, and a college took the advantage with me, and they was like, man, we still want you. Now here come that resilience. You done tapped into something. Now I got something to work for. What you
Mhm.
said earlier, I got something to work for now, right? Now you finna see the resilience come out because I have a goal. I have a target point. When you give a kid a vision and hope, you giving them a target point. Now they gonna show you all the resilience that they have because they going for whatever that is. So I had a 1.8 GPA, man. My turning point came when I laid on that bed and I was like, man, I ain't gonna play ball no more, and it hurt me. And I was just like, man, if I can go back, take that one day back. But now that I got a chance to, and I was back ready to play within like 4 or 5 weeks, you saw a whole different hunger in me. I said, man, I'm about to get this education part just in case this happened again. And I won't be sitting on that bed because the doctor asked me when I was on that bed, now that basketball is over for you, what are you now? And I told him nothing, man. You can hear everybody say you'll be nothing, but when you tell yourself, it was like, man, you took what I woke up to do. Like I took
Yeah.
what I woke up to do away. So but I had a 1.8 GPA, man. That was the thing. And I'm like, man, look at man. I said, people gonna judge me everywhere I go. And it ain't about them now. And I had to realize people gonna say something bad. I could do everything right in this world. I can go and do, and they still gonna tell me my socks don't match my shirt. Like I'm still like they gonna find. So it's like, don't work for them.
What
Don't
what
work
do
for
the
the people.
what do the tattoos signify? If so, so what's really great is people can watch us on my YouTube channel. So go to my YouTube because if you ever want to watch one, this is the one. So, I mean, because Tommie's arms are tatted up and to your neck as well. What are the significance of them?
So
Are they
the
reminders for you?
this to me it is a lot of them mean a lot, but some of it was in the state of mind that I was in when I got them right. And when you read some of them, it's principles too. Like it's some stuff that I really stand for. But I'm not that person that, like I said, I don't want to be Brian when I come in there.
No.
This is me. Like I enjoy the body that I'm in because guess what? I can leave here and when I go speak tomorrow, I'm having my shirt and tie and I can sit up. I can have this conversation, but then I can sit up and say, hey, how you doing? What's the logistics to the contract? Like I can go in there and speak that language too. I can go in both rooms. So it's not like I can walk and talk at the same time. And I gotta get kids to see that. My intellect is crazy. Like I'll be doctor in a few months. That's
I
gonna be the
know.
biggest accomplishment for me. That means I got a amazing intellect, right? So I know some things, but at the same time, I was forced to get to this point
Either that or
because
they
my
just give out doctorates to anyone. I'm not sure what that is, which one it is. It's one of the two, right?
yeah
I'm kidding, man.
uh,
Congratulations. Congrats. It's
yeah
phenomenal. I mean, just to see the rise. And you're young, man. You're 32 years old. All the stuff you're doing. It's impressive. It's impressive.
I appreciate it, you all, right? Because y'all don't understand how much you all paid the way for people to be their organic self. So when I get to see your presentation, I'm not telling you this because listen, I'm the first person,
I
like
know.
anybody to tell you, I'm not gonna just talk, man. I'm going whatever I speak. but to see your organic self when you speaking, that make me go back and like, man, you doing right.
Look,
You going in there the right way. And that to me is everything. Because I'm not there. Like if you want a speaker that's gonna be political correct, they're gonna read from the podium, they're gonna tell you the 7 habits of doing this and that. Okay, that's fine, and that's his niche. But know when you book me, I'm coming in there and I'm doing a whole different movement, man. I'm coming in there to make some people uncomfortable in a way, but not in a
shake
bad
it
way.
up,
I come to
shake,
shake it up.
shake,
I come to shake
shake.
it up.
Jake. Look, I look. Well, I do. My goal, discomfort's the appetizer for growth. I mean, you can't grow in this world without feeling discomfort first. And so when yeah, I actually had that happen to me. I had it. A lady came up to me at a workshop and she looked at me and she said, "Your little speech." Her words were, "Your little speech made me uncomfortable." And I looked her right in the eyes. I said, "Good, that's the goal." And she said,
You did
"Why?"
it.
And I said, "Because discomfort's always the appetizer for growth. You can't grow without it in this life." And in life we often want to run from the discomfort, we want to hide from it. We want to get as far away from it as we possibly can. And then I look at them all and I say, but not today, and not while you're with me. Today, while you're with me, I'm going to ask you to embrace the discomfort, hug it, hang out with it, marinate in it, let yourself feel it, and at the end of it, it will make you better. And that's true both physically and emotionally. Physical discomfort is critical for change. You can't change your physical appearance without working. And it's annoying. You go to a personal trainer, you want to cuss them out, and then you're done and you're hugging them. And that's what happens at my workshops. At the beginning, they're like, who the hell is this guy? By the end, they're hugging me and they're saying, thank you, because right, it's a workout. And part of the job of the work of the trainer is to push you. It's to push you beyond where you think you're capable of being. And for me, that's the most fun part of what we do. I love doing that. I smile when I see that. And that's what people like. That's what people want. Right? When you go to the gym, if you go to a class, you don't want an easy class. You want to be dying at the end. You want to
Yeah.
be like, "Yo, you got me. Amen. Great job. Like I couldn't even keep up with you." Right? Don't be easy, be hard. Isn't that what you want?
Yeah, if it don't challenge you, it don't change you. And that's the mindset. You got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So change is within uncomfortableness, right? If you uncomfortable, that's where change gonna come. Like I gotta go lose weight right now, Brian. Like my wife said, man, you getting big. Okay, all the food stop right now, right? So that's an uncomfortable thing for me. But at the same time, it's more of if she hadn't never said that to challenge me, I would have just been comfortable. But now that I'm uncomfortable with what she like, that's what growth is at, man. Like when somebody give you constructive criticism, if you really about growing, you will take that and you'll be like, he hit something. And and it's not even our ideal. It's just like we coming in with a perspective that
Yeah.
we've seen something. It's a reason why your district sent you here. Like, and I take conferences so serious because I say, okay, these districts sent you here. That mean it was something they wanted you to take from this comfort and take back. I'm not coming in there and playing
Right.
because they trusted me to put me on the agenda and the district trusts you to come. Now, if you was coming for a vacation, you don't come to my session because I'm growing you. I'm gonna stretch you because I want the same thing. And that's
It's a good session even for a vacation though. Even if they come for a
yeah, it
vacation,
is.
they should go to you because you walk out at the end, you feel good. I mean, you feel like you've been through it, but you feel good about yourself, and that's really what we want. And I tell people all the time, I'm not here to teach you how to teach third grade. Like that's your gig. And the truth is, if I needed to learn how to do it, I would sit through a couple hours with you. But all I do 24/7 is focus on fixing kids who get in the way of you trying to teach third grade. So wouldn't it benefit you to get
Yeah,
better with that kid? Your life's going to get easier. They don't pay you extra money to be miserable. So there's no reason why not go through it and get better at the end of it. You have 3 kids, right? How old are they?
yeah. Two, my daughter turned 3 and two on the 13th of February. I got a 6-year-old that turned 7 March 1st, and I got an 18-year-old. So a 18-year-old man. So it's
So
like
18, 6, and 3?
yeah,
Good for you.
18 right now, 18, 2 and 6.
18, 2, and 6. How do they do? They do all right in school?
Yeah, they my son is a challenge here and there, but
Yeah.
you gonna go through that. My daughter, some of them and both of them are, they got their own challenges, but I tell parents, you're not gonna be a perfect parent. I'm not even asking you to be a perfect. I'm just asking you to be present. And I'm glad, man. I'm glad we on parenting because that's the key to this that we talking about. the worst thing I used to ever hear from a parent is to tell her kid or his kid, I've done everything that I can do. I'm gonna let the streets deal with you now. Come on, man, that's selfish to me. Because now that I'm trying to raise my kid to be this way, but you telling me that you gonna let your kid go, now your kid gotta get in contact with my kid. If he don't fear home and you let him go, now he gonna come up on my kid. And
Yeah.
he gonna now this is what happened because of the results of you giving up on yours. That's selfish to me. And half of this stuff that we talking about, it start at home. Man, I'm not a perfect parent. Like I'm far from I'm learning every day about kids, even though I've been a kid. This is a different version of kids. I'm not gonna be perfect, but Brian, I'm present. And that's the distinguished factor. So when I go up into these schools, I'm having them see you see why he act a certain kind of way. Sometimes look at his parents, look at where he come from. Now all parents like they not gonna be perfect, but that's why like we all got a place in our life where we can grow, right? And I get people ask me, and I want to ask you this, Brian. How many people come up to you daily and say they want to do what you do? Because
A
that's
lot.
been something that what's your response to it? Because my response is, you want what it look like, or do you really want to do what I do? Because I think people really miss the point that
What
you know what it take to do this every day. Like I just got here last night late. I'm away from my kids. I made it in late last night. I gotta leave today. Like I gotta keep going. Like every day I'm on a different flight. That wear and tear and to be able to perform, it may look easy when I post it, but to hear it from another speaker, I be telling people like, man, you really want to get into this? It
what
looks
I- what
good when we
what
post it.
So what I tell them is I say, great. I say, you want to do what I do? Great. Go do it. Because the truth is I made it for myself. Nobody did this for me. I mean, I've had doors open, but so have a lot of people, but you spend 2 hours a night on Instagram doing really good videos and doing posts and understanding hashtags. You spend an hour after that on Twitter. You spend 15 hours a week on a podcast that you create in your basement and go for it. Go for it. The world is yours. You can do it, but are you willing to do it? People see the end result. People see
Yeah.
the banner behind me and they see the clip that I put on social media. Yeah. 15 hours a week I spend on this show per guest. Every guest I bring on, I do the interview, which is just an hour with you, but it is 14 other hours that I spend on this, thinking about it, booking guests, figuring out logistically how I'm going to connect with people, getting schedules right,
Mm,
figuring out I did a teacher here, I got to have an administrator there. Who's got a great story? Who have I met? Who do I know wants to come on just because they want to promote something? I mean, this is a job and it is work. And I tell them, go for it, but you don't want to do it. I mean, it's a lot of work, or you do
yes,
want
it
to do
is.
it. And if you do want to do it, go for it. I mean, anybody could do a podcast. There's no one stopping you. It's not. There's no company that hired me to do this. This is me saying I want to do it, but then it's me putting forth the effort and it's me sacrificing in other places in my life to get it done. And so go for it. You think you can do it? You want to do it? You want to be entertaining? You want to do all the headaches and send it to the editor who does the gets the audio right and makes it sound good? And I mean,
Yeah.
these are all things that you want to do it. Go for it. Apply. When I was first off in doing this, I applied to speak at every conference I could find. I got rejected from literally hundreds of them. I would apply and apply and apply and apply because I knew I had a message and I didn't care where I got it out. I just wanted to get it out. And at the time that I started, social media wasn't even a thing. I mean, I've been doing this. I'm 43. I got in this game when I was about 27, 26. I was still teaching full time. And it wasn't, again, I had a niche. It was, let me help you with your most challenging kids. It wasn't, let me help you teach first grade. It was, let me help you with this kid who's in the way of first grade. And so it was, but it was a relentless pursuit and it was connecting constantly. People see, oh, you have a lot of followers on Instagram, like that's easy. It's not easy. It's a job. It takes time and effort and thought and work to go through and find the best posts to repost. And so I tell them, go for it. I'd love to see you. I'll be your first follower. I'll be your first fan. I would love to listen to your show. I'm a fan of podcasts. I listen to them all the time. I promote other people's podcasts on my Instagram. I want to help people. I think in life, the more you give, the more you get. You will get more in your life if you have the mentality of, let me give. But don't act like it's easy. Don't act
Yeah.
like I just show up and deliver this amazing keynote or this amazing presentation. I busted my butt for this. I
Yeah,
worked
that's
hard.
the
I study the game. I watch YouTube videos. I watch presenters. I learn tricks of how to connect and how to engage and how to hook people. And that's all part of it. And if you want to do that work, go for it. And that's why I bring people like you on, because you're doing it. There's people who want to do the work, and then there's people actually doing the work. And I love those people. Those people
yeah,
inspire me. Those people make me want to be better. And that's why I do this show, because I get to meet people like you all over this country. And most people who work in one school don't. They get stuck. And I don't mean this is a terrible thing, but you get stuck with that same group of people day after day after day after day. Now, if that's a positive group of people, that's great. But if it's not, if it's a negative group of people, it's great to see and hear other perspectives that exist all over. And we have amazing educators in this country, and I see them every day, and so do you. I mean, you go
yeah,
in schools and you see these teachers that are showing up at 6 in the morning or 6:30 in the morning. They're staying until 4 in the afternoon, and all they're not eating lunch, and I mean, it's all day grind, but they're putting in the work. And when you put in the work, generally you get the results. That's usually how I see it, you know?
yeah. And I love that. I book speakers every day that I know that's legit, that's real about their core. I was speaking more of the guy that just see it. Like he just want it because it
Yeah.
looks good on the site. But
It's like
I
saying I want to
always
be like Kobe Bryant because he hits a lot of threes. Go put in the
yeah,
work. You know how much work he put in when you weren't looking, when you weren't paying attention? He put in the
that
work.
part.
You haven't put
Yeah,
in the work. You just want to hit the three, the game winning three, and everyone cheer for you. That's the end result of all
that's
of the work. And even sometimes you don't even get that end result. Sometimes you leave and they're like, yo, I'm glad this dude's gone. He shook me up too much. And some people sometimes say that. Nah, I mean, look, go for it though, is what I tell them. I tell them go for it. I think the great thing about education, what we do, is there's so much out there. If you're good, they will find you, and you see it. I
yes,
mean, if you're good, if you have a message, then you don't have to go on social media and say, please bring me to your school. I'm great.
nah,
If you do that, there's something wrong, in my opinion. People will find you. They will hear of you. Just go out there, and here's a microphone. They got them everywhere now. Every phone has a microphone. Go ahead. It takes me every morning when I'm on the road, I wake up an hour early so that I do 50 sit-ups, 50 push-ups, 50 squats, and then I do Instagram videos for my Instagram story. So I put in my Instagram story, I put them on my YouTube. That's another hour. So it's another hour every morning that I wake up an hour early every morning that I'm on the road. You see the 30-second message. That's what you see at the end, but that's an hour. It's me adding graphics to the
yeah.
bottom so the people that aren't listening can read it. It's everything is work. Everything is work. And it's all about where you put in your time, you know?
And that's me. I've added so much to my platform. I'm doing so many. Like I have the little Tommy character, Brian. I know you've seen him. The reason why I did little Tommy is because I wanted to be relevant in the K5 pre-K through 5 area. I wanted to start at the most critical ages of kids development.
Tell everybody what little Tommy is. So this will be, we got to wrap up and we got about 10 minutes left. So take me
Okay.
through little Tommy. How do you get developed? Who is he? I've
So
seen him. That's awesome. But who is he?
so little Tommy is my cartoon character, the young version of me. I had to get it built in Toronto, Canada. They had to mold my face and create me as a you if you see like the Dora figures, the Barneys, he's a mascot in that character. It took me a lot of time to get them built. So now I have the first Little Tommy book. The Little Tommy book, it talks about character building, and I do 10 to 20 book series on Little Tommy alone. Little Tommy have a message of the 4 B's: be confident, be determined, be motivated, and be yourself. And he when he come to elementaries with me, because I want to speak, but I also want the kids to have something that they can attach themselves with. Oh, when they see little Tommy after I speak and he perform, and kids be telling me I want to be just like little Tommy, so they be like, okay, I got that K through 5 area.
So how do you get
Because
him to a place? I'm looking at it right now on your Instagram. So on January 23rd, you posted little Tommy's first visit to Oklahoma was great. Students and staff were awesome. Special thanks to our Coma Elementary for having us. So is he a what is he? Is he like a how do you get him there? Would you buy a plane
So
ticket for him? He sits next to you?
so so I have to buy Lil Tommy book more than I am sometimes. Lil Tommy, um, he have his own schedule. Right now, I got so many schools lined up for Lil Tommy, but it works perfect, Brian, because the day before that event in Oklahoma, I did the administrative section, and then I did the professional development, and then I did Lil Tommy. So I have to buy Lil Tommy a plane ticket. I have to pay for his outfit to arrive. Like it's a lot that go into it.
So you
The
actually
kid,
carry him through the airport with you?
I have his own special bag. We I can't give you the tricks of him. He
I'm not gonna
magical.
do it, little Brian. It's all
He
good.
magical, but but that's another thing. That's me investing in myself too. I have to pay for a person to get in the suit. Like I got a staff, so I
It's
have
a
to.
suit. It's a mascot.
Yeah.
Got it. So it's a
So
mascot, and there's someone who goes in it, and you play both roles at the
yeah.
conference. You go
So
back and forth being both characters.
yeah, but he don't come to the conference too often. He come because that's like an incentive to me. That's when I come, I'm geared in. I'm locked in just on speaking, right, and the developments. But I'm not missing that K through 5. So I'm letting them know in the conference that little Tommy is available for your kids. But that's something that I'm not good at. I'm not an entertainer. So I want the kids to be inspired too. So my message, like I'm serious about what I do. So to have that component to add to it, and then I just added
I love it.
The Tommie Mabry Leadership Institute, where I spend I'm in Panama City with the Leadership Institute. I have 20 students, 20 male students that was on the track of not graduating, 20 of your challenging kids at 2 different schools. So I got 40 students. I deal with them through the whole year. So I come every 2 months and I work with them from 8 to 3 o'clock. And we running through, I'm bringing speakers in. We doing the whole thing. My institute has been the most because the reason why I added the institute, when you book me at your school, you booking me for an hour. But I need to follow up with the kids. I just can't get an hour. But I'm okay with the assembly. But it was more of me of, okay, you've came and you spoke to them. But what happens next
What's
week?
next?
Right. So next month, so I build the Tommy Mabry Leadership Institute. Me and my team came together, and now I've sectioned it off. I'm gonna see this group of kids from August to May, and to see that some of the referrals have shut down. I've
Yeah.
got my seniors on track to graduate. Um, it's bigger than just speaking. So the Leadership Institute is one of the most, besides Little Tommy, the little Tommy thing, that's the next thing that I'm very grateful to have besides my own platform of speaking. But the Leadership Institute and Little Tommy has been amazing. Little Tommy got his own book out, kids loving it. So I got a book for every age group. I got a book for K5, I got a book for 6th through 8th grade, a book from ninth to adult.
Do you
And my
self-publish your
PhD,
books?
I self-published.
Me too. Two of mine. I've done publishers a couple times, but I self-publish my main ones. I prefer it.
So yeah, that's been a big accomplishment to be able to go. So when you see my schedule and you see that, man, when do you sleep? Is I'm booked in every part of education, and I love it. I mean, I enjoy this. It's
I
not
know.
work to me.
The only thing about little Tommy that I'm looking at as I look at the pictures is he doesn't have any tattoos, so you got to
I
get him
know.
tatted up.
Yeah, I thought about that too, but the reason why I didn't, because that's supposed to be the K through 5, Tommy. The when I was at that age, and I didn't start getting them until I was in middle school. So when you get little Tommy, you getting little Tommy running through
The
your go.
real
If you
deal.
go to my YouTube and my social site, you will see the little Tommy skits where that was the K through 5 little Tommy. But now I'm using what I know now to let little Tommy resonate the message to them. You can be determined. You can have confidence. The 4 B's: be confident, be determined, be motivated, and be yourself. I think that'll get you through life. Confidence drive performance. Motivation give you that self endurance. Being determined is that not stopping, no matter how hard it get. In that key component, be yourself. Brian, that's what make you Brian, right?
Yeah. Look at my
That's what
shirt.
make you.
My shirt says "Be different" right
I
on it.
saw
Be
that.
different. That's
I
what
was
my shirt
wondering what
says.
that. I saw that
Be
in my
different,
shirt.
baby. Be
The
different.
the four B's. That's that's that thing that I do better than everybody. That's why when you go, you do that thing better than everybody. Whatever that thing is, you can. I'd rather stand out than fit in. I don't want to.
Totally.
I don't want to come to a conference and fit in what Brian doing. Brian is being Brian. They need to see all of us.
All
You
of
heard what
us.
I said? They need to see all of us. They need to see that component, and I think they do. For because when I go to the conference, I see everybody doing their own thing, and I see people that's doing it at a different level. I just see, like, I love to go to those conference, man, and see that people is stretching you. Everywhere you come to get, they stretching you.
I'm with you. I'm with you, man. Listen, I appreciate it. We got to wrap up. They kind of hold me to these hours. I could go a while, man. Listen, phenomenal. Great job. I appreciate all the work that you're doing. You're doing great stuff, man. It's fun to watch, and you inspire so many. And thank you for what you do. I appreciate you coming on here.
Thank you, man. My contact,
Yeah,
www.tommiemabry.com. I'm Tommie Mabry on all sites: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's Tommie Mabry. That's TommieMabry. And my website is www.tommiemabry.com. Brian, it's been a pleasure, man. I appreciate you for having me.
you got it, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.